Hi folks, and welcome to Paragon from Epic Games. Paragon is a MOBA or multiplayer online battle arena in much the same vein as League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm. Except, big difference? Yep, Paragon is played from the third person perspective, which makes it feel a bit more like a third person shooter, but it definitely falls into the MOBA camp. Paragon pits two teams of 5 players aside into an online battle, where the objective is to take out the enemy's base, or core as it's known in this game. The idea is to either push up or defend the lanes on the map, left, middle and right, take out the enemy's towers, destroy their minions, kill the enemy players, and eventually blow up the core. Sound familiar? Yep, anyone who's played a MOBA before will know exactly how this works. Paragon is currently in the open beta stage, so any footage you see here may be different in the final finished version of the game, and it's also currently free to play, so if you guys want to go and sign up and try it out, there's a link down in the description, you can go and access it from there. Now, like other MOBAs, you have to pick a hero to play in each game. There are currently a lot of heroes and more are being added to the game all the time. And they all have their unique personalities, playstyle, looks, graphics, art, and abilities, which makes it quite interesting. There are 6 classes of hero. You've got the Assassin, which focus on single target burst damage. The Ranger, which are more of a long-range basic attack hero. Casters, which are your high ability damage. Fighters, tanks, and support classes. So basically there's something for everyone in there, and of course how much you enjoy a character is going to be down to your preferred playstyle, but to have a good chance of success in the team, it probably helps to have a nice mix of the classes. Now if you check out the map up in the top right of the screen, that's going to look pretty familiar to anyone who's looked at a MOBA before. As you can see, there's the 2 teams on either side. You've got a left lane, a right lane, and a centre lane. The orange and blue dots are the towers, or inhibitors as they're called as you get closer to the core, and then of course each team has a base as well. Each side also periodically spawns minions which will rush down each of the lanes, and you have the opportunity to push them forward as you fight the enemy minions and try and push them into enemy towers to attack them, or defend as the enemy minions and players rush into yours. Now of course it's not necessary to destroy all the towers and take all the territory on the map, it's only necessary to destroy the enemy core, so your team has to get its tactics together. Are you going to defend the left, defend the right, the middle? Are you going to push one side? Good job then, you can communicate between the players in the team quite easily. Although whether they listen is another matter. Now the towers on the map do help control the lane, so it's pretty important to try and defend yours and take out the enemy teams. Not quite so simple as just rushing up and hitting a tower, because if you do that, you're going to aggro it, and these things can hurt quite a bit. So it's usually beneficial to get your minions to push up and use them as meat shields, let them aggro the tower whilst you inflict the damage. Oh, and if you hit an enemy player, which is in the control zone around the tower, that will draw the tower's aggro as well. So that sounds pretty harsh, but it also means that when you're defending a tower, you've got something else on your side there. So you as a team can push up one or all of the lanes. There's also the area in between the lanes known as the jungle. In there's all sorts of mob spawn. And killing some of these will grant your team certain buffs. There's invisibility buffs, there's more power buffs, and some of the mobs in there are more dangerous than others. The very powerful ones requiring you to have upgraded your character a lot and or bring along a few friends to try and take down. Now I mentioned upgrading your character. There's 2 ways in which you can upgrade your character during the game. You gain upgrades to your abilities, of which you have several, and they may be active and or passive. And basically just gaining experience from killing enemy minions and players will give you points to upgrade those and let you level your character up. And you also get card points for killing enemy players and minions. Cards are the equipment of this game. You equip them as you would maybe equipment in other MOBAs. And they're very customizable as well. Cards may be something simple like a health or a mana potion, or they may be a new weapon. And as you play the game more, you unlock more cards, allowing you to build powerful decks for each hero. And it lets you customize them to play the role that you want to play and fit your playstyle. Now it's quite important that you get the last kill on an enemy minion or player, as that will give you more upgrade points. And the upgrade points allow you to boost the powers of your cards that you've got equipped. Sounds complicated? Well, I thought so too, and it took me a few games to get the hang of this, but once I figured it out, it makes such a difference to your character. Getting those upgrades in there really boosts their destructive capabilities or survivability, because you can add health and damage reduction, all sorts of things. Basically, it allows a whole new field of customization, and I think it's pretty good. It certainly helps with the game when you understand it. Now let's take a look at these lanes, because this is where most of the action is going to be played out during a battle. When you first start playing, your natural instinct is to rush up these lanes and start attacking enemy towers. Nope, big mistake, as I found out to my cost. Games will typically last for 30 to 60 minutes, which can seem quite long, but a large portion of the early part of the game is just farming for experience and upgrade points. Basically, you want to make sure you get your team upgraded before the enemies. And you do that in the lanes by killing enemy minions that come rushing into your towers and trying to kill enemy players. They are worth a lot more points, and this makes it doubly important that you yourself don't die by rushing into enemy towers or enemy players or getting ganked, because you'll be just handing them upgrade points. So when you get experienced players on each team, it tends to play out that there's a lot of farming of minions going on in the middle, with neither side really pushing hard aggressively or trying to find an advantage, not at least until they've got powered up. At any point during the game, you can just pull back a bit, hold down B to recall back to base, and as long as you don't get interrupted during that recall process, you'll walk back to base and get healed up, and also get your abilities refilled if you use like the health or the mana potions. It's a little bit different in the jungle, the area between the lanes. In there, once you've got your character leveled up a bit, which makes it a bit safer to travel, you can go and try and take out some of the enemy groups of mobs in there, which hands over buffs to your team. And also you can try and interrupt an enemy player trying to do the same for his team. It becomes a bit of a sub-game in there, where you get players known as junglers who are going in there just trying to help their own guys out and disrupt the enemy's attempts at doing the same. So as you can see here, I'm playing a ranged character, and I thought they'd be a lot easier to play when I was starting out the game, and I think that's true. I think ranged characters and anything like this are probably easier to start out with and learn the game, but that's not to say that the melee characters aren't fun, as you're going to see in a moment. Now the ranged characters, they do fall into different types. You've got those with long range and low mobility, like the rangers, and you've got those with just a lot more damage and a lot more mobility as well. And really it just depends on what type of playstyle you enjoy. That's the good thing about games like this, that I think all the characters are probably viable, or at least they will be when they've all been tweaked and balanced and everything else. And really it's just about finding the character that fits your playstyle, what you like doing and how you like to play, and also the ones that you find easiest to play. And there's definitely a general impression given away in games like this that ranged characters are a little bit more forgiving. However, I have to say that once I got the hang of it, I really enjoyed playing the melee characters as well. And these guys really come into their own, well, as the ranged guys do as well, I suppose, once you get your head around the upgrade system. You get the equipment, or the cards rather, fitted on there, and you get those upgrades as you go through the game. You can really see your damage output increase and your survivability go up as well. And that allows you to make more daring plays, it allows you to go off and do things by yourself in the jungle, and it just makes the whole game experience a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. And for anyone trying this out for the first time, I say persevere with it. Go off and read on the Wikipedia how the upgrade system works, because I played about 3 or 4 matches not using the cards at all because I just didn't understand them. Well, I'd say not using them, I was using the default deck, which comes with a mana potion, a healing potion, and a scout ward, I think, which is something you can put down and lights up when enemies come within its area, which is quite handy for watching lanes and parts of the jungle and things like that. But I completely overlooked the other equipment cards, or cards I should call them, because I just didn't understand them and didn't think they'd make that big a difference. Oh boy, was I wrong. Definitely get your head around the cards. They are fantastic once you understand them, and it completely turns the game from being very slow and repetitive and steady and a little bit dull, especially if you're playing like one of the rangers, to something a lot more dynamic and interesting, where you feel like a killing machine or a true tank or a real damage dealer. It totally turns the game on its head, and once I understood that, it really changed my opinion of this game. Because let's face it, MOBAs by their very nature are going to be repetitive. The game format is pretty much the same all the way through, and your approach that you will probably take to a lot of the games, i.e. start off farming for experience and upgrade points in the middle before getting stronger, then pushing out and using maybe some combined tactics with other players to go after towers and things. Let's face it, that's what these are really all about, these games. They're all going to take that sort of format. and if it's a little bit slow and plodding, that doesn't work well. Though it doesn't sit well with me, you might feel differently, but I found that, yeah, once you get your head around the upgrade system, things change. So if you're going to try this out, that would be my advice. Read up on how that works. Have a few games by all means till you get it figured out, but read up how that works, utilize it, you'll enjoy it a lot more. And I have to say, the game is a lot of fun, and especially when you feel that sort of progression throughout a battle of getting more powerful and more dangerous and allowing you to take on more and different enemies and play different ways, and or support your team more if you like playing the support classes. When you start out playing the game, by the way, don't be afraid that you're going to be thrown in with a load of very experienced players and you're going to get your ass handed to you. It's not like that. You have a player profile which you level up as you go through. Until you get your profile up to level 5, you can only play against the AI, which means it's a bit more forgiving and you don't necessarily have to feel as bad if you don't do very well. Now, you can start off just playing solo against AI teams with AI teammates. You can then progress up to playing cooperatively with 4 other players against a team of AI bots. And once your profile hits level 5, you can go out into the real world and do player versus player. 5 players per side. Which is a great way of doing it, because although it took me a little while to get up to level 5, it did at least ease me into the game, and I wasn't making these mistakes, i.e. not understanding the card system, playing against real players and therefore letting my team down a lot. So I think that's a very good way of easing people into the game. Also, because it's free to play, why not give it a go? That's a great thing about a lot of free to play games. You can give them a go. If you don't like them, you haven't lost anything. It's nothing worse in this day and age than playing 40 or 50 quid for a game as it's newly released and finding out it's just not for you. But the free-to-play model is always a good way of getting new people into games, and I probably wouldn't have tried something like this if it wasn't free-to-play. Yes, I'm just a tight old Yorkshireman and I don't like spending my money, but I'm really glad I tried Paragon, because I think I'm going to play a little bit more of it, at least to try out all the different heroes and see what I think of them. Anyway, folks, those are my first impressions of Paragon, and they are pretty good first impressions. I have enjoyed it. I've not really played any MOBAs before, and until I understood how this one really worked, it wasn't really doing anything for me, but it does get a lot more exciting when you figure it out. So I am definitely going to play it a little bit more. You let me know in the comments if it's something you'd like to see any more of on the channel. And now it just remains for me to find a few of my friends playing this, put together a team of crack players to go out and kick ass, or more likely get our asses kicked. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. If it's something you've played, let me know what you think about the game. If it's something you've not looked at before, perhaps this video might interest you a little bit, in which case you can click the link in the description, go and sign up and give it a go. Either way, hope you enjoyed the video, or at least found it interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.